Welcome back. Do you like my glasses? Now, the doctor isn't the only person on the set. You keep putting yours on and off, and I just thought, you know what, I put mine on too. Do you like my glasses, Rod?
They're nice. Nice spectacles.
They're nice, aren't they? I think they're very elegant.
They're funky.
They're funky, yeah. They're really nice. Well, I have to say, these are available from Vision Express. So if you want something with some character and style and elegance, and I think it matches my top brilliantly, yeah. And it makes me feel really important. Sorry, I have to say that. But we were talking earlier about some of the things that we were seeing on screen. There was a question I wanted to ask, and that is, what part of the body is the strongest part, or which part of the body works hardest? Not which organ, but what part of the body?
I'll leave that to the trainer to add.
For me, I would say the calves. The calves are very strong muscles. We use them to walk and run, although they fatigue very fast. If I get a person to do what I call warrior hops, just jumping in one space, they fatigue very fast. In general, I would say the legs, starting from not just your thighs and hamstrings and calves, but take into consideration the glutes as well. Glutes or the buttocks are very, very strong muscles. I think it's one of the largest muscles.
I think the lower limbs in general, which we call the girdle, from the pelvis down, would be the strongest set of working muscles in the body. And studies have actually shown that the countries that have high levels of longevity, the people who live the longest, are those who have the strongest muscles in the lower limb. These are people who walk a lot, walking, running, whatever they do. Use of the lower limbs is part of their normal activities, and these are the people who have been shown to live the longest. Well, so it's crucial that we keep the muscles of the lower body fit and
let me show my ignorance then, because it's only when when Roger was talking about the two diagrams that we showed, and we saw the fat in one and the other, I thought that the middle of the body is what worked the hardest, because people always say, when someone's had an operation in their stomach, they're weak, or their back, if you have a backache, the stomach aches sometimes. I just thought that was the part.
Well, I tell you what, that is the seat of your power and strength and speed and so on and so forth, your core. But it's also probably the most sedentary group of muscles.
If you don't know how to keep them active all the time.
Right, even while sitting down. So I think it also brings to a question here, how does globalization impact our health? All right, for one, we got kids spending so much time in front of TV
and the games.
Computers, games and whatnot, and not walking as much. I remember, growing up in St. Lucia and walking almost everywhere, growing up in Barbados and walking almost everywhere now. Everyone wants to drive. Not to say there's anything wrong with driving, but we start to live these lifestyles of convenience and forgetting that, walking is a good thing. Walking is what keeps a lot of people alive.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. The people who are walking as part of their normal thing are strengthening their lower bodies and thing. But back to the core. The core, remember, in the middle part of the body, it's not just the organs. There are also muscles, and these muscles are what we call the girdle, the power point or the powerhouse we talk about in Pilates. And it's extremely crucial to keep the core tight and strong, because if you have a tight core, you have better posture, you have better strength to hold up your body. You get less backache because you have, to put it in a very simple way, you have a way of holding in your organs, and the muscles are then holding up along the spine. So it's not just stomach muscles that make up the core. Part of the core is actually the muscles in the bottom of the pelvis. The pelvis is actually like this. It's like a basin, and that is part of your core. So imagine that sling of muscle in the pelvis actually holding the organs within the middle part of the abdomen. So you have the sling at the bottom, and you have muscles along the sides, and then you have muscles along the back, and then in the middle of that you have the spine. So it's extremely important to keep that core strong.
Let me.
So that is why they talk about when you have surgery, because you cut the muscles.
All right, that makes a lot of sense.
That is
And it's also important for balance as well. You have a strong core, you have better balance, which is important for women as they age. Better balance means less falls, less broken bones,
Yeah.
and so on.
But what do people come to you most for, Roger, when they say that they want to get
They
fit?
want to get rid of the belly.
Okay.
And they want to know how long it's going to take. And I tell them basically that the way your body stores fat or burns fat is in a genetically predetermined way, and oftentimes it's in the exact reverse of the way.
And you do
story-
some form of analysis as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do a body analysis, which helps to determine how much body fat a person has. So a person might come to me and say, you know, I want to lose 30 pounds. And a lot of times that's an arbitrary number. Sometimes it's based on how the person, you know, looked 10, 15, 20 years ago when they were back in school. And what the body analysis really does is give me an objective number of what they should, in particular women, what they should lose. Because you don't want to go below, you want to end up with low body fat, because then that would create a whole nother spectrum of problems.
With hormones.
With hormones, menstruation, bone density loss, and so on and so forth, which you definitely don't want to do if you're a woman and getting old and dealing with osteoporosis. You know, so that helps me to kind of set objective goals, how much
Okay.
weight you should lose, but in particular how much fat, because weight loss and fat loss is totally
What's
totally
the
different
difference?
things. Well, weight loss can include loss of muscle, whereas fat loss, we're just targeting the fat. We're building the muscle, burning the fat.
Why would you want to lose muscle?
No, you don't want
You
to lose
don't.
muscle, because muscle is what pretty much keeps the weight off. Muscle is directly related to metabolism. The more muscle you have, the higher the metabolism, the more calories you burn, the leaner you get faster. The problem is that when you start talking about building muscle with women, they have pictures of being a bodybuilder, and looking
bodybuilder.
like a man. Core muscles, for instance, a lot of times you figure, you know, your core is so ignored that you can just do core training and build the muscles around your core, which is not just simply the abs, but muscles in the lower back, middle back, your hips, inner thighs, and so on. And the muscles associated with building the core. And you can do these things without lifting a single piece of weight, just using body weight. So what I like to say is that when you do body weight training, you're building muscles that your body needs. You're not going to build more than what your body needs, because
Okay.
you're working with your body weight.
All right. Well, we have to go back to a break now, but when we come back, we are going to open the phone lines, so you can call us if you like. But we've closed the entries for tonight's giveaways, but later I'll repeat those wonderful Valentine presents that you could win. Now, the phone lines are ready for your calls when we return. This is Dolor Factor Live. Stay with us. The next gift could be yours.